Don't wait for you.
Hey y'all, it's Butters, and today I am back with another storytime video. Today, I will be discussing a thing that I don't know how to talk. I met a Russian mail order bride at my last job. This was definitely an experience that stood out about my last job, and I thought I would share it with you guys today because, I don't know, it was interesting at the time and a little bit weird, and let's just hop right into it, shall we? If you don't know what a mail order bride is, a mail order bride is a woman who is put up for sale online, and you can buy her and marry her. And usually the people who buy them are older men who want a hot, young, and sexy wife. I didn't check the statistics for this, but I believe that Russian mail order brides are the most popular and the most known. For my last job, I worked in a big commercial technology store. I worked as a service technician. You can think of me as like Geek Squad at Best Buy. People will bring in their computers and be like, help, it's broken, fix it. I'd be like, okay, let's take a look, and I would fix it. Now, at the time, I was not very well versed in the realm of hardware, so I worked alongside other technicians. They would handle most of the repairs while I would handle most of the actually checking in the laptops and interacting with customers. So I would be the one who would be at the front desk going, hi, how can I help you? By the way, that was an absolutely amazing job. I adored it, and it helped me meet a lot of different kinds of people. Like Russian mail order brides. Anyways, it was just a normal day of work. We were a little bit busy, and I noticed that one of my coworkers, he was also working the front desk. He was interacting with the customer and speaking Russian. That was when I realized that my coworker was bilingual and actually from Russia. I thought that was pretty cool. So I was working the front desk, and I was checking people in and out, and I noticed that there was this woman who was walking up, and she was absolutely beautiful. She had icy blue eyes, a little mole underneath her eye, super long blonde hair, and she had a beautiful figure. She was just really, really pretty. And then she came up to the desk and threw her laptop on the desk and started hooping and hollering in Russian, and she was just so mad and so angry, and then she stormed off. And I just sat there like, Okay. An older man had to chase her down, grab her wrist, and pull her back to the desk and said, sweetie, we need to explain to them what the problem is. And she was just not having it at all. She had just the biggest scowl on her face. She was just... So they both come up to the desk, and I say, hi, how can I help you? What seems to be the problem today? And this older man opened up the laptop and said, well, you see, we're having a bit of problems trying to get it to power on and actually see anything on the computer. I was wondering if you could help us. I said, yes, sir, that's what we're here for. Let's try and power it on and see what we get. So I plugged in the laptop charger and booted it up, and it booted fine into the operating system, but I noticed that the hard drive was making a lot of random, clicky, really bad noises. By the way, for those who don't know, if your hard drive is making random, clicky noises, then that means that it is probably failing and you need to get it replaced very soon. Hooray, I'm a technician. I explained to the older gentleman what the problem was. I explained that his hard drive is failing, and if he wants to keep the data that is on the hard drive, he's going to need to have a data transfer and then eventually replace the hard drive. He said, oh, okay, that's fine. I really need the data that's on that hard drive, so I would definitely like to have a data transfer done. And I said, yes, sir, let's go ahead and get you all checked in. Here's the paperwork to sign this and this and this. Now, the pretty lady with the man seemed pretty annoyed. She was just sitting there at the desk like, So he leaned over, put his arm around her hips, and gave her a little kiss on the forehead and said, it's gonna be okay, we're gonna get it fixed soon. I honestly thought it was a father-daughter relationship up until that point. I kind of figured like, why aren't you speaking Russian to your daughter? Then he looked up at me and said, she just came in from Russia. Isn't she beautiful? And I said, yes, she's very pretty. Is this your daughter or a family member? Or he said, no, she's my fiance. That threw me for such a loop, you guys. Oh my gosh, I was just like, I get it now. The connection is there. She's a Russian mail order bride. It made sense because the guy was wearing some really expensive jewelry and clothing, and she was just so pretty and so young, and oh my god, it's a Russian mail order bride. So of course, to be as professional as I could, I said, oh, that's really cool. Is she liking America so far? So he tapped her on the shoulder and pointed at me, which I guess signified that I wanted to make a little bit of conversation. As somebody who's very patient and loves to teach people the English language, I asked her, I said, how do you like America? And she sat there for a good couple of seconds just looking at me, and she said, America, good. I then said, oh, you like America, that's really cool. And we started making a bit of conversation the best that we could. There was definitely a language barrier, but we still were able to get our points across. Apparently she had a friend or a family member who was studying IT at Clemson University, and I said, oh, studying IT, me too. And she goes, Clemson? I said, no, IT, but she still said, Clemson, good Clemson. I'm like, oh, okay, yes, Clemson. The older man was still filling out the paperwork to check in his computer, and he asked me, he said, if we do a data transfer, do I get a free hard drive with it? I said, no sir, you're gonna have to buy one, and then the actual data transfer will also cost money. So all in all, it's gonna be about $120. He said, oh, okay, that's a lot of money. Can we possibly take a look at what's on the hard drive before we actually make the data transfer? I said, yes sir, we can boot from this USB. I have Windows 7 on it, and we can just take a look at the files that you have. So I booted Windows 7 from a USB, and I pulled up the my computer, and immediately the girl comes over and goes, no. And I was just like, oh, okay, oh, I'm sorry, okay, sorry. The older man laughed and said, yeah, there's a lot of pictures of her on here. They're a little bit scandalous, and I was just like, I understand, sir. If you want to go ahead and look, go ahead. I'll be back here. Let me know when you're good to go. Oh my gosh. While they were looking through the pictures, I stepped back for a moment to catch up with my coworkers, and they said, well, Hannah, we're really happy we have you at the front desk. You're handling this situation really well. And I was sitting there like, I'm not handling this very well at all. I almost saw Russian mail order bride nudes, okay? Like, no, I'm not okay. It was at this point that my Russian coworker was done helping the Russian customer that he was with, and he said, have a good day in Russian, and she said, you too, walked off, and the Russian girl was just like, and she slid down the desk to talk to him like, hello. And then they started conversing in Russian, which I thought was really cool, but I could tell that this girl had something else on her mind. She was sitting up there on the desk like this, she was pushing her boobs together, she was just like, wow, whoa, and just being so flirty. I don't even speak Russian, but I could tell that this girl was very flirty. But my coworker either handled it very maturely, or he had no idea what was happening. I went back to check on the older gentleman, and he said that he would just like to keep all the pictures and files on the hard drive. So I said, absolutely, sir, I'll go ahead and get that started for you immediately. He said thank you, and then had to basically drag his fiancée out because she was so enthralled with the conversation. You could tell that she did not want to go. She was like, no, another Russian, no. After they both left the store, I went up to my coworker like, okay, dude, I see you spitting game, is that what you're doing? He said she wasn't flirting, she was just telling me about her life. I was like, dude, okay, I don't speak Russian, but I can tell, I see the signals, she digs you, okay? And he was just like, really? You think so? So I asked him, what'd you guys talk about? And he said, oh, we're just talking about her personal life. Apparently she's from Moscow, and she's 23 years old. I was like, okay, all right, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, she digs you. She digs you. His face turned red and he said, I don't have time for this. I gotta go work on something. So while my coworker went to work on his thing, I went to work on the actual data transfer, transferred everything. We're not allowed to look at the files, of course, and I wasn't about to because I don't want to see Russian nudes, okay? I don't want to. I have the internet for that. What? I did not just say that. But that is the story of how I helped a Russian mail order bride at my last job. That was interesting. There's a lot of interesting things that happen to me while I work, so if you guys are interested in hearing more work-related stories, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. I cannot believe I helped a Russian mail order bride. Can't believe it. Granted, it was a really positive experience. They were both super duper nice, and I don't know, I guess it's just the concept that kind of freaks me out a little bit. Anyways, like, comment, fave, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video of whatever I make. Bye-bye.